cricket has returned to the Asian Games. After a gap of nearly 10 years, cricket has made fleeting appearances at multi-sport, multi-nation events. It made its first ever appearance at the 1998 Commonwealth Games. Women's cricket, of course, made it to the Commonwealth Games only in 2022. It featured in the Asian Games twice, 2010 and 2014, both men's and cricket teams. Now, India had not sent in their squads in the earlier editions. The women's squad was represented last year for the Commonwealth Games, and they finished with silver, losing to Australia in the final. And this year at the Asiad, both of the Indian men's and women's squads will be seen in action. We'll talk of the women's cricket as they play first. Format is such that there are 9 teams and they play T20 matches. 5 of them are through to the quarterfinals. That's India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Thailand. And the remaining 4 played amongst each other to determine who they will face in the quarters. The quarterfinals will knock off on the 21st September. Now let's look at the top 5 teams, starting with India. Now, Harmanpreet Kaur is the skipper, all right. But because of the 2 match suspensions that she was docked after that flare-up during the series against Bangladesh, Smriti Mandhana will lead the side. Now, India is ranked number 4 in T20 format, played their first one-day international in 1978, have made it to the finals of 3 ICC events, finalist at the Commonwealth Games 2022, as we mentioned. They are the favourites here. But the other teams are closing in, even though they are not as highly ranked as India or have the same pedigree of talent. Now, Pakistan, let's look at them next. Captain is Nida Dar. They're ranked number 7 in the T20 format. They played their first one-day international in 1997. Can't take this team too lightly, even though India has had the better off in their challenges or face-offs. The next team we're looking at, Sri Lanka. Of course, Chamari Atapattu leading the side really well. They're ranked number 8 in the T20 format, played their first one-day international in 1997. Secured their first ever series win against England this year. What a fantastic win that was, almost bridging the gap between the best and some of the rest coming up. Now, the next side we want to look at is Bangladesh, captained by Nigar Sultana. Had a fabulous series against India recently. Bangladesh ranked, of course, number 9 in the T20 format. Played their first one-day international in 2011. Finalists at Asiad 2010 and 2014. Now, we want to look at some of the other sides as well. Thailand ranked number 12 in the T20 format. Captain is Narumol Chaiwe. They've played their first ODI, the first one-day national, only in 2022. Qualified for the semi-final of the Women's T20 Asia Cup last year. Now let's look at the other 4 teams who sort of battled it out to make it to the quarters alongside the rest. Starting with Indonesia, captain Wayan Suryani. They, of course, are ranked number 21 in the T20 format. The ICC granted full World T20 status in 2018 to this nation. Indonesia made their international debut in 2019. Fabulous story. Let's move on then to the next team. That's Hong Kong. That's captained by Kerry Chan. They, of course, are ranked 22 in the T20 format, made their international debut way back in 2006, some sort of an experience there. Reached quarterfinals in the 2014 Asian Games and were included in the Women's T20 World Cup Asia qualifiers in 2021. The other team, the next team that we want to look at is Malaysia. They're ranked number 27 in the T20 format. Of course, captain is Winifred Duresingham. They made their debut in 2006, included in Women's T20 World Cup Asia qualifiers in 2021. The Malaysia Cricket Association recently awarded the central contracts to 15 women in 2021. Big news and big development there for women's cricket in Malaysia. The last team we want to, of course, talk about, the last squad. It's a personal one. They've really reached out to my heart. Mongolian cricket team. Now, the Asia 2023, in fact, this year was the first international tournament that these group of women have ever played. They are a squad whose average age is 19. The first time they have left Mongolia to play cricket is this tournament. The team kit, in fact, was handed to them. They borrowed it from Australia, and the bats that they've used, just 4 of them, was donated to them by a French ambassador. A very heartwarming story coming out from the Asian Games as far as women's cricket is concerned. Now, the quarterfinal lineup has been decided then after all these matches that some of these last 4 teams played with each other. So on the 21st September, mark your calendar for that one, India will take on Malaysia and Pakistan will of course take on Indonesia. The next set of quarterfinals will be on the 22nd of September, quarterfinal 3. Sri Lanka will play Thailand and Bangladesh will take on Hong Kong. Of course, the winners will then step up to play the top 4. So a lot of exciting cricket. So mark your calendar and don't miss that one.